Hello, hello. So last night when I was laying in bed, the Lord gave me this message and was telling me kind of like an update on the enemy at this time. And honestly, it wasn't much of an update because it was really just the same old same, reiterated or recycled again, I should say. Because he's already given me this message before, but he brought it to my attention last night because he wanted to let me know that this is still going on presently as we speak, even right now in October 2024. Now, again, this message is only going to resonate for certain people, so take it if it applies for you, okay? So the Lord was telling me that the enemy, okay, so we know there's the enemy, the devil, right? But the people that he's using as his puppets that have been coming against you, they have been still, as I've talked about this in the past, going back and forth between the tarot world and the prophetic words, right? So they got one foot in the dark kingdom and one foot into the kingdom of light. Now the Lord is saying, don't make no mistake, they don't have any feet in the kingdom of light, but they feel that when they are taking in these prophetic words, that then they are with God. That's what they're feeling like. So why this is relevant is because what the Lord was saying is that, well, what he said was they think the bad is for you and that the good is for them. And so I knew what he meant. So he's saying that all throughout this time that they've been coming against you, they've been, because they have a reprobate mind, right? They're so full of pride and ego and arrogance that they have been given over to this reprobate mind. This reprobate mind makes it so that they think that they won't fall. Like the pride and ego is so strong with this reprobate mind that they think they'll get away with this forever, that they will never receive any consequences at all. So when they come across when they go and check out their tarot readings and say the tarot reader is saying something good or positive, a positive good message, right? And saying something like a wealth transfer is coming to you, or like you and your partner are going to get married, something like that. They assume that that's for them. This ego in them thinks that all good things are for them, even though they're corrupt and they're wicked and letting the devil control them, right? So why would you be blessed? If you're corrupted and full of arrogance and pride and the devil's directing you, why would the Lord bless you with something good, right? But the Lord's showing that this pride and ego is so strong that they just assume that despite that, they're a child of God, they're a chosen one. The Lord is going to bless them and shine down on them. So when this tarot reader is giving this positive sounding message, they just take that in as that it's for them. But the Lord is saying in reality, the tarot reader is giving them a message for you, child of God. You're the one that's going to receive the blessing and the partner and the wealth transfer. Like, that's what's up and coming for you. And so this tarot reader is picking this up and delivering this message to this person. And the Lord is allowing all of this, by the way. The Lord's allowing all of this because fools fall to their own folly, right? So because these people have fallen, they're so foolish, the Lord is letting them fall into their own folly. So they go and they pay money. The Lord is saying these people they can't read cards and they can't receive prophetic words. They don't hear from the devil in that way, and they don't hear from God. They have to have an extension do this for them. They have to either get it for free or pay to receive this information, whether it's on the good side or the good side or the dark side. They have to pay to receive this because they're so reprobate that they're not hearing anything from the devil, and especially not hearing anything from God. So because of that, they have no choice but to go and receive this from somebody else. But because they're receiving it for someone else, they have no interpretation of their own. There's no filter. So they just take in whatever it is that's being told to them, right? Now, because of this pride and ego, when they hear a bad report, they just throw that on you. They assume that all that bad is going to come on you. And that when they hear a good report, all that good is for them. So if this, like I said, if this tarot reader is giving a good reading to them, they assume that's all for them. But it's actually for you, the Lord is saying. And then when this tarot reader receives a bad message, and the bad message is like, oh, you're heading for a breakup, or like you're heading for a loss, or your enemy is after you, like, I don't know, just whatever, something like that. this person thinks that that's you. Oh, so they're like, oh, I'm going to be blessed. I'm getting a wealth transfer and a spouse. And that person, that child of God that I don't view as a child of God because I have a reprobate mind, they're going to go through a loss. Their enemies are going to trap them in a pit. But the Lord is saying it's actually the other way around. And the Lord is saying it's a 6-9, but they're seeing it as a 9-6. So you're a 6 and they're a 9, but they're seeing you as a 9 and them as a 6. So to everybody else around, they can clearly see that the numbers are 69, but this person, due to the reprobate mind, views it as 96. They're seeing it backwards. So whenever there's a good report for you, child of God, they assume that that's theirs when it's not. And when there's a bad report for them, they assume that's on you when it's not. And so you see, this is leading them into their own folly. And the Lord is saying they're getting frustrated because they're not seeing this come to pass. They're not seeing these good messages come to pass in their life because they're not going to. And then they're also simultaneously not seeing these bad messages come to pass in your life because they're not going to. Because the good part was for you and the bad part was for them, because the Lord doesn't bless mess. And these people have created a mess and they're waiting for the Lord to bless, and he's not going to do that. But you, child of God, you stayed on the right side of things, so the Lord intends to bless you, right? So that is going on. Then the Lord is saying, so that's on one end. Then on the other end, they go and they take in the prophetic words. And the Lord is saying he's allowing these people, these adversaries, to tune into his prophetic vessels and receive these prophetic words that are actually for you. And the Lord is saying he's doing this because it's just furthering their confusion, right? It's just causing them to run in even more circles. And the Lord is saying that same thing goes when they receive these prophetic words. They actually don't have a relationship with Christ, you do. But when they receive these prophetic words, they assume that, so when the prophet is saying something good, like same thing, your spouse is on their way, you're elevating, you're having a glow up, your spiritual gifts are activated, something like that, that's a message to you, child of God, from your heavenly Father that you communicate with on a daily basis. They assume that that's for them, even though they were just in the tarot world 10 minutes ago and they don't have a relationship with the Lord, they don't hear from the Lord, they don't revere the Lord. They just assume that positive message, because they think that it correlates with what the tarot reader said. So because what the tarot reader said is for them, then this must be for them too. And then same thing goes when the prophetic vessel is saying something negative, like your enemies are going to receive judgment. They think that you're going to receive judgment, child of God, because they think that you're an enemy to them, when in actuality, they're an enemy to you and an enemy to God. So all the good things that the prophetic voices and even these tarot readers are saying to these adversaries are actually messages that the Lord is sending to you, child of God. And then the negative ones, they think are for you because of this reprobate backwards thinking, this confusion and delusion, but it's actually for them. And because they're not seeing any fruition of this good or in their life and this bad in yours, they're very confused and very frustrated and not understanding what's going on here, because they're like, okay, well, I listened to the tarot reading and they said blah, blah, blah. And then I listened to the prophetic word and it was this, this, this. So why, and the Lord is saying, because of the fact that they haven't went to God, they don't hear from him. So for one, why would anything positive or blessing be for them, right? The Lord doesn't bless the wicked. And for two, they're jumping back and forth like a lukewarm would from the dark side to the light side. And the Lord doesn't like that in and of itself, but then expecting that the Lord's going to just turn a blind eye to that and just bless them nonetheless and bring you down, child of God. But you, child of God, you don't entertain the dark side of the tarot world at all. You literally focus on the Lord, and you don't necessarily even need any type of interference or involvement or interjection, because you hear from the Lord firsthand. The Lord speaks to you. So therefore, you don't need to go to a tarot reader. You don't need to get a prophetic word, because the Lord speaks to you directly. So if there's something you're not sure about or concerned about, you just need to go ask the Lord and he will speak to you on behalf, right? But because these people have this reprobate mind and they don't walk with the Lord, even though they think they do, they don't receive that firsthand information. So this is why they have to seek it out from somebody else and receive it from an outside party, okay? And because of this, it's just confusing them all the more, and the Lord is allowing them to just stay in this confusion and delusion and just keep running. The Lord keeps showing me like a dog chasing its tail, going in circles, getting nowhere. So that's the energy at this time. And so like I said, this isn't a new message. The Lord has given me this message on them before, because this is something they've been doing for years, these adversaries. They do this to try to like get the quote unquote tea on you. They think that the tarot is going to tell them the tea on their future and yours. Then if that's coming to no avail, then they think that the prophetic word is going to give them some tea on your future and theirs. But because the Lord has them thinking that all the bad's for you and all the good's for them, even if someone was giving them the right tea on something, they're not viewing it properly anyways. So it's all coming up worthless, right? It's all just a waste of time, effort, energy, and money, honestly. And the Lord's doing this on purpose, because the Lord will use the foolish things to, he's saying shame the wise, but, so the Lord is saying, because these people think they're wise, he's using foolish things to fool them. And so because they think that this is making them very wise and smart and clever, doing this double dealing and this double dabbling, the Lord is allowing them to go ahead and entertain this tarot situation and the prophetic simultaneously at the same time, even though the Lord doesn't condone that, but he's allowing it because it's their own foolery is getting them caught up. And the Lord is allowing that to happen at this time. So just wanted to give a quick little update. That's what the Lord told me last night. So again, this is energy that has been transpiring for quite some time. And the Lord is saying that it's even transpiring all the way to this present moment. So it's just an update. If you weren't sure what the enemy's been up to, now you know. So I know I'll find the right ones at the right time. Take care and God bless.